0. Got 33% on my phone.
Yeah. Good plan.
And who am I looking for? Let's see here. This might take 5 or 6 minutes because I just posted it. Okay, let's see here. All right, we got one person on. We got 2, 3. Oh, that was Paul. Atlanta Starbucks on with us. 4. All right, this is going to be a groundbreaking broadcast. I entitled it, what did I entitle it? The Masculine Experience Raw. And hello, everybody. See. Alicia, Rebecca. Sue Patty's back. Jill Nicholas. Hawaiian. Jennifer Graham. So, this is Todd Medina, Michael Van Patten, Paul Hanrider reporting from the front line of the apocalypse. The unveiling. And if I can be just cussed one more time, the motherfucker. We spent a lot of time talking, excuse my French, everybody, I didn't mean to offend you. We spent a lot of time reading, listening. Somebody's calling me from California. I don't know who that is. 3 years ago, the Divine Feminine landed. I remember very distinctly. I began a relationship at that time with Morgan Lee. And I remember when that all happened. I watched it happen through 2017, 2018. Masculine started rising last year. And it's front and center. We had a show yesterday with Honey Borden and Michael Abramson. And Honey relayed to us an experience or conversation they had in December, which was basically she gave him an ultimatum. I don't think that's the right word, but the gist of it is it's time to step up. It's time to actually step up. We're talking energy here, but primarily that energy is represented by the masculine incarnations. And so we're speaking energetically here. As the individual goes, so goes the collective. So we're not going to talk about the website today. We're going to talk about the masculine journey. And the way this happened was we just had a quick meeting a little while ago, and we went around the horn and asked everybody how they were doing. And I'm just going to let everybody say whatever they want to say. We said, we said to each other, we're not on a linear timeline with the work that we're doing together. So why don't we touch base in a week, update each other, and then we said to each other, we shared our experiences somewhat with each other of these massive, this incredible period of transition that seemed to start with the eclipse and is going to run through the 21st. Planets are aligning on the 17th through the 21st. So this is a powerful, powerful alignment and opportunity for all of us tonight. And we said to each other, this is good that we could sit here and talk to each other. I would like to just have a meeting. We would like to have a meeting, not regarding work, not regarding Soulogy, but just regarding three brothers talking together, because the masculine journey is unique. I can talk to Morgan. Paul can talk to his lady friends. Michael can talk to Christina, but I haven't seen a whole lot of the masculines talking to each other. So as we do Soulogy style, everything's spontaneous. We said, why don't we just go and do a show right now while we're at our most vulnerable? And raw is raw. Raw is not always beast mode. Raw is wounded child mode. We're dealing with the same thing everybody's dealing with, but we figured it would be a good time to share this frequency of honesty and authenticity, raw authenticity, and vulnerability, and we just go around the horn. So I don't know if you guys want to draw straws. Does somebody want to take the lead here and burst through the ring of fire?
I'll start.
Beautiful.
I've been for days and waves just experiencing such fear and doubt and lack and disbelief in my own power, and was in such a emotional reactive state to some really divinely neutral questions from my beloved Christina that triggered me like nothing else. And it was a culmination of everything that I've been feeling, that like, oh my God, like everything that I'm trying for, striving for, and I'm not there. And I was just exhausted with the effort and really just pounding on myself. The false belief was so real of what an absolute fucking failure I am, and how powerless I truly felt in that emotional reactive state. And I just had to sob, on my knees several times over the last several days. I couldn't make sense of it. I was truly digging up stuff that I didn't think was still there, but it was, and it had to come out. And it made no rational sense. It was my emotional pain body that needed a voice, that needed a release, that needed a good cry. Several good cries, several triggers. And it wasn't until I gave myself the permission to do that in front of my beloved, by myself, with my parents, to be witnessed and to witness myself doing that. So yesterday, purge, sob. And today, I'm on the other side, if any metrics can be applied to it, that, it was almost like an orgasmic release, where you are just so spent at the end of it all. You got nothing. And so there was a void. And today there's a little more peace. I was so grateful for my beloved's reflection to me, and so many things that she said, that in the moment I literally could not hear because the pain body was so loud. And they're coming back to me all day. And certainly one of them was point blank. I mean, she got not fierce, but strong with me and said, Michael, do you have any less experience? Do you have any less talent? Do you have any less creativity? Do you have any less love in your life right now? And through my tears, I sobbed, no. Then how can you possibly feel powerless? But I needed to feel it. And the other truly humbling smack upside the head was, and I'm paraphrasing, but essentially, and I think I heard Honey say this in last night's 5D Soul Speaks about, it doesn't matter. What was said was essentially, I expect nothing less than the God that you are, the divinity that you are. I will not tolerate a victim because I know that's not true. Make your choice. Nothing's holding you back. And so it was a deep dive, a deep shitty dive, and it was necessary. My own pride was like, how could I possibly still have this level of grief and disbelief in myself at this stage of my journey? So it came down to honoring whatever the feelings were, whether they were truly all mine or if I'm, holding space as a collective sponge. I don't know. I don't care. But I felt it all and gave it its voice, its sorrow, its cries, and let go. I'm sure not all, because there's always more life. But I let go of enough to have that release and a little more peace today. Yeah. Real and raw. But yeah, for the masculine, whatever the program is, to truly own and let go of those energetic emotions without judgment. And all throughout today, I've slowly been remembering my divinity, that I'm more than this. I don't want to put a happy solution face on it. It will continue to ebb and flow, I'm sure. The only way to do that is to let energy flow, whatever it may be, and do no harm.
Agree.
That's me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
I think we're going in ABC order. That brings you up, Paul.
Okay.
Because I'm shaking in my boots.
I don't blame you. Well, something that Michael and I talked about that's really hard for me. I'm 48 years old. I'm a professional engineer by trade. I spent the first 20 years of my life designing phone systems, being very productive and getting a nice house and having 3 kids and married and all these kind of things. And one day, as I started on this journey, I kept being asked over and over and over again to slow down and step away, and I wouldn't step away. And then the company went bankrupt out from under me. I worked for a company called Nortel, and I got laid off before it even happened, and my $80,000 severance disappeared the day it went bankrupt. And all of a sudden, this thing that was supposed to be a beautiful transition to start my own business became this like huge fear-based thing. And 3 kids and a wife and house payments and all those kind of things, and went down this path of being an entrepreneur and building stuff. And then I had a divorce, and fuck, it just feels like, excuse my French, but every day I'm just being asked to give up more and more. I divorced my wife for love. It was a marriage that was a sexless marriage, and I loved her as a person, but I was dying trying to feed her with my love. And I now know things a whole bunch different, but I made that choice, and it was the darkest hole I ever went into in my life. I'm scared I was going to hurt my kids and how she felt towards me. And now I'm at this point where I'm going deeper, and it's like, rest more and take more time for yourself, and trying to validate myself with some success, and then scraping money off the bottom of the bank account and that kind of stuff, just trying to find that next step. And fuck, I'm ready to do every bit of work that shows up. I step into every hard situation, have the hard conversations, and do all that stuff all day long, and feel like I'm making progress, but in a 3D kind of way, or a way that I can relate, or my friends can relate, or my family can relate. There's no progress there. Yeah, I can feel inside that I'm this amazing light being, and I talk to people about subjects that terrify them, and do that with integrity and honesty. But we gauge it all by money and successful, and can we go on a trip, and we just buy whatever we want when we want, and supporting your kids and doing all those beautiful things to make them happy. And it feels like I'm hurting them all the time by following this path. Excuse me, but it's a path I feel so drawn to, and I feel it's the right thing. But whenever things get heavy, how do you just go lay down and relax and breathe it out and go to the next one, when the bills need to be paid, and next day something else is going to come up to kind of work through, and it's not fun yet. I'm looking forward to the day when I can do these things and it's fun, and I smile at it and just really see how strong I am and all that kind of stuff. But kind of like what Michael said, I just feel like weak. It's like, fuck, what I don't have right in my mind yet, that's not allowing all this abundance and beauty and my beloved to show up in my life. And just hard. You wake up every day and you put a smiley face on, and you step forward, and most things go good. But then you gauge yourself a little while later. I don't know if that's the ego or what, but you gauge it and you're like, fuck, I haven't made any progress in the real world. Inside, I'm a shining, beautiful light of amazingness, but I can't even see that because people see it in a kind of generic way, but it doesn't mean anything towards all the ways that we've been taught should mean something, right? Like pleasing your parents. I know you're not supposed to do that, but still, I want to make them proud of me. They're amazing people, and having my kids be really, really proud of me and stuff like that, not questioning me, well, why are you going on some other training, and why are you going on a trip, and you say money's tight, but these are callings, and I can't not. So I go do them, but then I disappoint them, and it just keeps getting back to this point where you wake up one day and holy fuck, I just feel all this heavy energy again, and like Michael and I talked earlier today, and he just gave me permission to release, and I screamed and yelled into a pillow for an hour. I'm surprised I even have a voice right now, but where's all that pain coming from? Like, oh, well, I thought I was going to get this, and I thought this was going to happen. I expected that, and the dream and the Cinderella and the princess and live happily ever after of getting married and having kids and having a business, in a lot of ways in 3D reality was all a lie. It just kept you on a treadmill. And now I'm freeing myself from that, but now I have no way to gauge myself against anymore. And you wake up each morning and it's like, okay, what am I getting up for? Why am I putting my feet again in front of the other foot? Because this is hard stuff, and I don't know why I keep doing it, but I keep doing it. And I'm watching for the rainbow like we all are. So I'm moving forward every day. I know there's a reason for it. Every time I try and step up and do something, it's kind of like things are batted down. I'll set up a website and start to try and advertise, and things will kind of fall through. And it's not time yet. It's not time yet. Well, I'm just hoping one day I'll wake up and there's the time, and things will start to really flow and move forward. So being the best man I can be, and I don't know how to do it any other way. And I love sharing with other people and being vulnerable about it. There's not ashamed of anything I've said. It's just who I am and what I am. And I hope other men hear that example and that resonates with them. They just open and be soft and be loving whenever they can, even though this stuff's hurting inside. And I never even got onto the topic of the divine feminine. How many times I've been let down, and I'm not blaming, but as a man, like how there's a lot of mixed up stuff and create a lot of anger in me. I try and date and I try and find women to connect with, and holy shit, that's hard sometimes. Like, everybody's got agendas and secret checklists that you never know what's on the list, and you're trying to make them happy and meet them, and they all got their wounds too, and it's just a minefield. Opening your heart and then getting it broken, and opening your heart, getting it broken. I've learned eventually it just smashes it wider and wider open, but eventually you get tired and you don't want to get up again, and you don't want to reach out. But I'm begging for that day when that's safe again, and women can open their hearts and we can meet and connect at a really deep level, because we're all longing for it. So there's my rant. Thank you.
Thank you. No, we should have gone first.
You're doing it.
Well, it's a powerful thing to witness what I'm seeing. That's the power of the sacred masculine. Yeah, so some of the things you both said, I've lived them and I feel them. One of the things, being in a divine conscious union for 3 years, I've spent 4 years prior to that alone, going through a lot of the things Paul described, Michael described. And, we're in the face of Billy Badass and crying my eyes out many, many, many times. And then, being in this dance with this beautiful woman. She once told me that she was going to use my love for her until I found my love for myself, which I think, is accurate. But everything continues with an ing. Everything continues. The rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper. And that's not a bad thing. Because as the rabbit hole gets deeper, the power gets deeper, the love gets deeper, the wisdom gets deeper, the awareness expands, and you find out more stuff that you didn't know about yourself. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, and sometimes it's orgasmic. But I spent 4 years following this voice. You know, the two voices. One was talking about Soulogy and oneness, and you got to go do this and you got to go do that. And it felt so good doing it. And the other voice was saying, you're a piece of shit. Learned to let go of the stories. I got 6 beautiful kids. I don't have a relationship. I don't have a relationship with anyone, and this is not a victim. This is just alignment. I don't see it as a sacrifice. I don't feel I feel I feel alignment. But alignment isn't, you know, fluffy love and light. You know, alignment is the whole ball of wax. Alignment is reality, and alignment is to thine own self be true. And so in this 3 years ago, I meet this incredible woman, and I think this is part of the sacred masculine. He has a knowing. The masculine journey is different. He has a knowing. I've told her many times, I knew in the very beginning. I knew, but I just don't know how to get there. So back to what both of you were saying, you know, I spent these 3 years chasing this calling, and then start to develop these missions within a mission, divine union, personal expansion, Soulogy, oneness, contribution, serving. And, you know, living like a hobo, living out of a suitcase, and going from one type of vibration to another vibration. And they're like steps. They're like steps, and they're you know, insane occurrences. Traveling around and meeting people, and nothing against them. I called them in, they called me in. Dramatic eruptions, some borderline psychotic experiences, self-inflicted and not, you know. And I learned that everything that's put before me, every single thing is got a message for me, and start taking on responsibility for my soul. But at the same time, I'm still hearing, you're just not good enough. Why don't you have any money? Why don't your kids talk to you? Why do you have these 2 legal issues that are unfair, that are not right, in your path, blocking you? Why aren't you taking care of them so you can get a fucking passport? And, you know, I learned a long time ago, walking the streets, it's circumstances and consequences are the same damn thing. The story is a story. So the upside, you know, the upside is I'm starting to see that these depressions, for lack of a better word, are the gateway. They're a gateway. Let's go deeper. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the other day, man, this has been a powerful period since the eclipse, and I've been with Morgan. We've had a hell of a ride since December the 7th. It's been incredible. We've gone through the same thing everybody's going through. We haven't projected on each other. We've given each other space and such. And the other day, she has these incredible cards. They're called O cards, OH. And they're pictures and words. And they're the most incredible cards I've ever seen. I'm not a card person. They're called O cards. And sometimes I think they should be called oh shit cards. Because they give you these abstract images. They give you a word, and then you talk about what that word brings up to you as a human being, as a man. And then you talk about the image that comes up, and then you put them together and you connect them. And it's a deeply incredible experience to unveil some things. It takes a little getting used to, especially for a man. We did it with some friends the other night, and the woman totally got it, and the man went totally into 3D, into Macho Man, into control, into the same thing I did for a long time. I've done them probably 20 times. So what I'm getting is, I had this experience the other day. We had laid down together the night before. Golden particles of creation formed around my body and went into my body. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be walking on water tomorrow. I woke up the next morning, which I think was 3 days ago, and a big giant fear bomb dropped on my head. And she caught it. She felt the energy too. She said, let's pull the O cards out. And so we did. And in these O cards, as I pulled them up, in the state I was in, I went totally Macho Man. I went totally blind. I spent the whole day with these 4 or 5 things that came up as I realized I went through the day. And I realized they were representing my greatest fears. My fear of separation or loss in my relationship. My fear of inadequacy in my life's work. My fear of being a man. My fear of my performance in intimacy with my beloved. I was celibate for 4.5 years. I forgot everything. I don't even know what to do. What used to work doesn't work. It doesn't align anymore. I was lost like a little boy, and I'm learning. And it's like everything else. It's taking one step at a time. All these fears, I mean, they're real until I, can admit them to myself. I want to be able to be a great lover, but it doesn't matter. And that's a hard pill to swallow. I want to be a great provider, but it doesn't matter. And that's a hard pill to swallow. I want to be a great father, a son, and friend. But it doesn't matter. Because the only thing that matters is me. So I've had the blessing and the burden of having a mirror, a teacher. I ordered that. And I'm just like, I'm the universe. And the feminine power that I have, that everyone has, that is creation, has been screaming at me. Because the masculine, the wounded masculine in me, is that voice that's been doing all the fucking talking. And when you're talking, you can't hear a damn thing. She's not outside of me, she's inside of me. Mother Goddess is inside of me. And I'm just saying, as a man on this trip, in this transition, in my role, that, yeah, it's made me feel stupid, ignorant, inadequate, powerless. But she's still there. She's still inside of me. She's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. And it's like she loves me and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. That's me loving me. So, you know, the main thing I wanted to say was the difficulty in giving up this power. It's more than words. You know, the masculine has to give up its power, its false power. We've heard this shit. But the difficulty in doing it is real. It's like being emasculated. It's like having your balls cut off. It's being castrated. It's being neutered. You know, it's being stripped down to nothing. You have nothing left. Nothing to show your power. You're powerless. You know, all of that stuff's taken away. And this last week, I spent so many times going, what do I got left? I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not this. I'm not that. So where am I at? I'm like with Michael. I know this shift gets deeper and deeper. I have less fear today. I have more peace today. And I came into this thing 7 years ago by the magic of my soul. And I came in alone. And I'm sticking with that. Energetically, I'm sticking with that. I am tied to the magic. I'm in pursuit of the magic. I am the magic. And just because I'm catching that frequency from time to time, like Tarzan swinging from vine to vine in the jungle, tree to tree, doesn't mean that I don't feel these things that we're talking about. I think maybe they'll fade away. I don't know. I don't know shit. I don't know anything. And so I see it the same way. I have nothing but me. In full acceptance of that, and an attempt accepting that and perfecting that to never be perfected. But reaching that way, and I feel that by doing so, I have everything. I don't feel that. I'm not going to do what Michael said and put a big halo around it and say, okay, everybody go home. It's all good now. No, it's a climb. So, you know, my name's Todd Medina. I'm 57 years old. I would like to be a great lover. I would like to be a great provider. I'd like to be a great father, son, friend. Anything's possible. But the reality is none of that makes me who I am. And that's taking some getting used to. And I'm getting there by getting to know myself. So round 2, Michael.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Paul. That's everything comes up. Before we break through to the other side. We are in an eclipse corridor, but like I was saying to Paul, this cosmic alignment, that gateway, this solstice, this eclipse, guys, it's full on all the time. Step through whenever you are ready. No linear time. You're not going to miss a thing. Once these gateways are open, they're open. And, this is what I'm feeling. And I'm so grateful for both of you, my brothers, to hold space and share the same dance, different steps, and who cares what the gateway is or the eclipse? This is the human condition as we become the divine human. Divinity will not tolerate anything but our purity. And we are just uncovering more and more. That's today's ride. That's today's ebb and flow. The waves are never going to stop. I'm getting better at writing them. Mm-hmm. I'm getting better at flowing with them and understanding the rhythms of my own emotional reactivity, my own judgments, my own expectations, my own attachments, my own scripts and identities. Today, I'm not buying into the I can't. Yesterday, and then for all several days leading up, that's all I could feel. And divinity, for me, is simply, I can. I can. I am. That's it for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My turn.
Yeah.
It's trying to look at this new way we're being expected to be men. As I'm learning how to be masculine and what masculine is, I'm sadly finding out that our fathers before us did not even know what that was. It was taught to them. It's go and have a good job and make money for your kids and feed them and all this kind of stuff. A lot of our kids didn't even see our dads so much and stuff in our past. So we really don't know what masculine is. It's something that was kind of bred out through many generations. To start to learn to be a dad to my 3 boys and how to teach them to be masculine, how to hold space for women, how to have integrity, how to do things in a way that are kind of win-win for people. It's not crash and smash and let all the shit sort itself out. These are the things that become difficult when you're working in a world that's changing and people don't see that same way. And when you try and conduct yourself in that same way, it's fucking hard sometimes. And you're standing there in integrity and in a room with a bunch of other people that are just in it for the money and all this kind of stuff. And you're walking around and having to do that every time. It just feels so exhausting. I know it's right. And I know it's the way the world needs to be. It just, how to keep stepping into that and being that shining light and setting an example for others. And when you're feeling like this, you're heavy and you're just grinding out, and this stuff doesn't even feel like mine. It's like way more than me. It's more collective stuff, and it's just sit down and breathe and go have an Epsom salt bath and have some tears and cries or whatever, and then get up and be an active person and go put in a work day and meet with clients and still present that piece while at the same time that other reality is breaking down. It's kind of this very hard and complex thing, and you got to be soft and gentle and be nice to yourself so that this can pass through, but at the same time you got to have a strong face and deal with kid issues and money issues and all that kind of stuff. Being this new level of man, there's no course, there's no guy you go to and, Dad, can you tell me this or whatever. And my dad's an awesome man. He just never learned it in the way that the world needs it to. So we're kind of getting this crash course all the time in our life, every single day, and we're learning to be that. And by sitting here and being emotional and vulnerable and talking to people, I hope we're giving other people permission to do that same thing, because I want to live in a world where people talk about what's in their heart and not what they're feeling and thinking and worried about, and talk and be vulnerable about it. And it's like, okay, yeah, let's get that emotion out on the table right here and right now, and let's not fester for the next year and a half. And guess what? It's done. That's the new way. That's the new way. Wear our heart on our sleeves. We're always told that the bad thing. Oh, wear your heart in your sleeve now, because it'll give permission to other people to, and then we can all open up. And I see lots of beautiful comments of people and women saying, like, wow, I didn't know it was this way. Like, without us having this, what we feel like is emotional breakdown sometimes, and discussing it, how could they ever know? So I'm proud to be able to have shared that, and it's kind of healing for me just to even have this discussion, and I'm grateful for that, and grateful to all those who heard what I've said. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm all over the board. You know, doing these shows takes a lot of energy, and I realized, I realized that pretty much the show always has to go on. That's what I do. That's what I do, and I used to start the shows and kind of tell myself go, and I would flip into this other person, that guy, that guy that that's not me. And then now, if I feel like this morning, I did a show with Ramona and I almost started bawling in the first 5 minutes, but I'm not going to hide anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not. I also realize, and I think that it might be beneficial to understand that the masculine journey, he's always been leading with his heart. He's always been trying to do the right thing. Now, we're talking about our history. We're talking about men going to war because they loved their country and their family, even though it was just a big ruse. This is the same thing we carried in our heart. You know, we forgot ourselves, and I forgot myself, and I'm finding myself. We have this tendency as masculine to put this ridiculous pressure on ourselves. Performance. And it's in every part of our life. Can I perform at work? Can I perform in bed? Can I perform as this, as that? That is disempowering. And we're chasing our power through that measure of money and stature and sexual prowess. You know, we had glimpses. We've had glimpses and times, and we thought we had that power. We had the big house. We had the cars. We were, you know, Johnny Long Dong Silver in the bedroom and all that stuff. You know, but it never lasted. So, you know, we were stripped down to nothing. I remember being a little kid, 4 years old, walking out onto the to the playground in nursery school, and I was liked. To that point, I was pretty much unaffected. I was liked, you know, and I was a skinny kid, tall, skinny kid, and this big kid walked up to me and punched me in the stomach and knocked my breath out. And he did it like 3 more times. And then my brother took me down the street to his house and he made me knock on the door and said, "Beat his ass or I'm going to beat your ass," which was, but the reason I tell that story is because that mask, then the mask, plural, started coming, you know, the badass, the funny guy, all those masks, you know, so, you know, my point is, regardless of all that, I just want people to know, just my personal, always been in pursuit from our heart. We were just fucked up and misguided and conditioned, and our journey's different than the feminine. And I can find grace and love knowing that, you know, it diminishes the effect more and more every day of what we call failures and mistakes, you know. So I just think that it's time we start to give ourselves some credit, and it's time we stop bullshitting ourselves, and it's time we don't have to say that our partner or the women or the feminine are telling us to put up or shut up or step up. It's in ourselves. It's ourselves telling ourselves, let's step up now. And it's not the old warrior thing. It's the demasculation of what we thought we were, you know, for me, what I thought I was. It starts there, and whether it's in the bedroom or the boardroom, I don't have a fucking clue. I'm starting over. It's like I'm a little kid and I just crawled into my den or playroom with a bunch of toys, and I'm going to get to know them all. And I find out what I align with and what I love and like, and I'm going to do that. So thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for sharing your stories. I would encourage any man out there who would like to sit down and have a conversation and have some brothers hold space, and with the intention of the heart of our intention to activate other sacred masculine, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and we'll do a show. So
Talk anytime.
yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. I'm good.
Thank you both. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. All right. See y'all later. Love you both.
Peace
Love
out.
you too.
Yep.
All right.